My name is Mams and I make weird music. Back in June 2012, I made some friends with some traveling musicians from Nepal called the Gandharvas, or colloquially called the Gaines. I took several videos of them busking on the streets of Darjeeling. I also hung around with them and took some interviews. I then invited them to my home for some in-depth interviews, and they also showed me their traditional folk songs. Now this was 12 years ago. I only had a cheap camera and no experience in filming whatsoever. However, I believe that the information on it and the music is very valuable and is nothing short of a treasure to both me and the world at large. So instead of hoarding it in my possession, I'm sharing what I have with you. I will add subtitles, but not everything was easy to understand and translate. So I will try to clarify to the best of my ability. But first let me explain who the Gandharvas are. The Gandharvas are a tribal community residing mostly in Jhapa, Nepal. Their colloquial name, Gaines, literally translates to singers. From times immemorial, they have been traveling across the areas where the Nepalis reside and playing their folk music. In the days before mass media, they also acted as news bearers and hence were an important part of the Nepali people's socio-political lives. Today, they still travel across Nepal, Darjeeling, Sikkim, Bhutan and other areas, playing either popular songs or their traditional folk songs and playing the Nepali Sarangi. It is very much common to see them busking on the streets of Darjeeling and are very much a soundtrack of our lives. During that week, I did meet a few different Gandharvas, but there were two I became close to and hung around with. Tara Gandharva was a dashing boy aged somewhat similar to me. He was very outgoing, friendly and jolly. During the busking performances, he always stole the show with his high register voice. Like this clip. He often played the sarangi in a somewhat non-traditional way. On his bow, he had attached a few tiny bells, and instead of fully bowing the melodies, he strummed the strings with the fingernails of his left hand somewhat like this, and kept the rhythm. I can't really do it, but here's a clip of him doing it. I asked him about the different rhythms used, and here's what he told me.
यसमा मतलब कुनै गीत छ चुड्कीमा कुन चाहिँ गीत छ जस्तै चुड्कीमा भएको
चुड्कीमा त अब कतिवटा हुन्छ नि गीतहरू त
जस्तै आज गरेको गीतहरू कुन चाहिँ छ
यो भनेको यस्तै आज हाम्रो भेट भएको
त्यो चुड्कीमा ए चुड्कीमा कुन चाहिँ
छर्किन जा लगाउने कानीले लट्टे पार्यो तिम्रो त अनि अर्को समला चाहिँ यस्तो हुन्छ आज हाम्रो भेट भएको दिन आज हाम्रो भेट भएको दिन अनि अर्को चाहिँ यस्तो हुन्छ त्यो अर्को चाहिँ यो चाहिँ अर्कै पारा है
यसको केही नाम छ
यो चाहिँ खै
नाम छैन है हामी चाहिँ उता चाहिँ दीप चढ्ने भन्छ यसलाई
यो चाहिँ अप्ठ्यारो गीत है माया नगर्ने मलाई तिमीले तर किन शङ्का लाग्छ मलाई कहिले त्यति तिनवटा मात्रै आउँछ मलाई
तिनवटा आउँछ है हुन्छ
अरू चाहिँ आउँदैन अरू थुप्रो हुन्छ बजाउनु त तर
I couldn't make out everything that was being said, but here's what I was able to make out. He points out 3 different rhythms, a 4 or 8 beat rhythm called the samala, like this. A 3 or 6 beat rhythm called the churki,
बिर्सला ला 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 मायाको डोरीले तिमीलाई बँधौँला मायाको डोरीले तिमीलाई बँधौँला दिलको मतलबमा तिम्रो चढाउला सम्झना बिर्सला ला 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 जनबार बिर्सला ला 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 ला.
And then another rare unnamed one which is in 7 beats. I don't have any example clip of this as it wasn't played on any of the sessions, but you saw it in the interview. Of course, this was 12 years ago. Tara was a young boy and had probably just started playing with his seniors. But he was already a master of what he knew, and he always presented it with a lot of flair. I looked for him on YouTube, and there's a lot of videos of him uploaded by other vloggers and YouTubers. I can already see that he has really matured and is very popular nowadays. I'm just happy that he seems to be doing fine. And I especially stressed on this point because sadly that is not the case for my other friend whom I had interviewed. Tara's traveling and musical companion and probably some sort of a mentor to him was Shankar Gandharva. Being a little older, Shankar was a lot more knowledgeable and also more introverted in his mannerisms. He was very keen on sharing all his knowledge and showing the traditional songs. During the interviews, he chose his words very carefully, making sure not to misrepresent anything or give out any misinformation. He understood what his role was in the legacy of the Gandharvas. In the busking performances, one could sense that he was the band leader. He knew all the songs, he kept the boys in discipline, seeing that they don't get in any trouble. He had also brought along his little kid. My guess is that he wanted the young to learn their traditions. For this second interview, I have asked him about the tuning of the Sarangi. I have tried both to translate word to word in the subtitles, but have also tried to explain what he probably meant. He does speak in a much more deeper and formal voice, so I couldn't understand everything from the interview, and also the accent of people from Nepal is slightly different from the accent that is used in Darjeeling, but here's what I was able to gather.
यो चाहिँ अब आफ्नै तरिकाले मिलाइन्छ यो बाजा भनेको यो हाई लो हुन्छ यस्तै खालको मिलाइन्छ आफ्नै स्कुलमा मिल्यो अब यो खालको मात्रै होइन हाम्रो अर्को खालको पनि मिल्छ गजल स्कुल बनाएर मिल्छ यसलाई चाहिँ भन्ने चाहिँ हाम्रो गजल स्कुल भनिन्छ गजल स्कुलमा चाहिँ अब प्रायः नमिल्ने गिटार चाहिँ मिल्छ स्कुलमा चाहिँ र हामी यसमा मिलाएर गीत गाउँछौँ यो चाहिँ हाम्रो आफ्नै शैलीको उयो हो
So, he shows me two different tunings. Both are open tunings in different keys. The first one is a fifth, root, root, and a fifth above it. I am purposely not mentioning any fixed notes because most Asian folk instruments are usually tuned based on the singer's voice and not predetermined fixed pitches like Western instruments. So suppose if it was in the key of C, then the tuning would have been a low G, then two C's in unison, and then a G above it. For the next tuning, he just tuned the two outer strings a tone lower, essentially making them the root now. So now we have the root, two perfect fifths in unison, and an octave above it. Using the same key example as before, it would have now been an F, C, C, F, essentially turning the Sarangi into the key of F. Over the 12 years, I would often search both of them up on YouTube. And even though Tara is all over YouTube, I could not find a single trace of Shankar on the internet. I even started doubting if I had gotten his name wrong. However, while doing research for this video, I decided to dig deeper and was confronted with some heartbreaking news. Sadly, Shankar passed away last year in November. It did leave me a little shocked while I was working for this video, but after a couple days, it made me even more motivated that this video needs to be done. The words and the music that he shared with me were not for me to hide on my hard drive. It has to be shared with the world. I hope with these videos, any of you watching can also find little gems of knowledge of our humanity's cultures and traditions. I consider myself very lucky to have met such a wonderful and wise person, even though it was just for a few days. I wish we could have met again and talked more about music and culture, but life is just weird. Please keep Shankar in your memories. In this next interview, I have asked them about the parts of the Sarangi and materials used to make it. Again, I have tried my best to transcribe what is being said, but it may not be 100% accurate. In addition to the terms used by them, I will also add terms that are more comparable to the parts of a guitar so that you can get a better understanding of it. This interview seems to be a lot more chaotic. Oftentimes, both of them and I are speaking all at the same time, so I couldn't understand many things that they said. I even find myself a little obnoxious while watching the footage. From what I remember, off camera, the three of us were a lot more informal. But on camera, both myself and Shankar seemed to be a lot more formal, and Tara was mostly shy. So overall, it becomes somewhat chaotic, but that's what we have.
हाम्रो यो सार्नीको खास भन्नुपर्दा चाहिँ यसलाई भनिन्छ चढाउ हाम्रो नेपाली गन्धर्व उयोबाट चाहिँ चढाउ भनिन्छ यसलाई यो तार हैन तार पनि हाम्रो चार खालको लाग्छ चार खालको यो एक नम्बर भनिन्छ गिटारकै तार लाग्छ हैन र यो दुईटा दुई नम्बर यो चार नम्बर हैन यसलाई भनिन्छ यो घोडाको पुच्छर हो यसको नाम खास भन्नुपर्दा धनु भनिन्छ हाम्रो गन्धर्वबाट चाहिँ हैन हामीले चाहिँ धनु भनिन्छ र यसलाई यो कसनला भनिन्छ मुरा भनिन्छ र यसलाई भनिन्छ सुन्दरी
कुन चाहिँ
यसलाई चाहिँ यो सुन्दरी भनिन्छ हैन यो सुन्दरी भनिन्छ यो चढाउ हो हैन यो त सबै थाहा भयो हैन यो घोडा पुच्छरको बारे भनिन्छ यो सारङ्गी नै खास कलश यो माथिको योलाई चाहिँ जुन भनिन्छ कलश भनिन्छ
कलश
हजुर र यो तलको त छाला यो छाला बाख्राको लाइन चाहिँ हाम्रो खास भन्नुपर्दाखेरि बाख्रा गोरु होइन पहिला लाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो यो तार पनि खसीको आन्द्रा लाइन थियो अरे भेडाको आन्द्रा लाइन थियो अरे तर अहिले त भेडा खानु त पाउने होइन र अहिले त गिटारकै तार काम चलाएको खै हामीले जान्दादेखि त यस्तै खालको छ र हाम्रो यस्तै छ
अरू काठको बारेमा
यो काठ भन्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईँ सिउँडीको काठ हो होइन र नफुट्ने काठको प्रायः सबै सार्ने
ए जुनै काठको पनि भनिन्छ है
खास हाम्रो पहिला उत्पन्न भएको सार्ने भनेको श्रीखण्ड हो श्रीखण्ड त अहिले त कहाँ त्यो चन्दन नामै पाइँदैन र अहिले त श्रीखण्ड त होइन श्रीखण्ड त होइन अहिले त अब कटरहरू त्यस्तैको बनाउँछ सार्ने खास राम्रो सार्ने भनेको अहिले खास भन्नु पर्यो हाम्रो चाहिँ प्रायः बयरको हाम्रो मधेस क्षेत्रबाट काठ पनि त्यति पाउँदैन होइन बयरकै बनाउँछ प्रायः सार्ने त्यति नै हो अब हामीले भन्नु पर्दाखेरि
यसमा तपाईँले मतलब के सापको छाला
हजुर यो गोहराको छाला भनिन्छ त्यसलाई
गोहराको है
हजुर गोहराको छाला भन्छ यसलाई चाहिँ सबैभन्दा साह्रो राम्रो भनेको चाहिँ यो छाला यो छाला राम्रो सुनिन्छ
है
अनि यसमा अर्को एउटा उयो पनि लाग्छ यसमा रोजन भन्ने हुन्छ यहाँ पाउँछ होइन
हजुर त्यही भाइलिनको जस्तै
त्यो लाइन छ त्यति
एकपल्ट अलिकति बजाएर देखाइदिनुहोस् तपाईँले यसमा घुङ्गुर पनि लगाउनु भएको छ त्यसको अलिक प्रयोग गरेर देखाइदिनुहोस् प्रयोग गरेर देखाइदिनुहोस् न त्यसको यसमा अब तपाईँले रिदम बजाउनुहुन्छ होइन देखाइदिनुहोस् हुन्छ न त यसमै बजाएर देखाउनुहोस् होइन यो बोले यो सारङ्गीमा बजाएर हैन यो नबजाए पनि हुन्थ्यो नि यो मात्रै बज्छ
Yes, you can see how chaotic the interview got towards the end. And watching the footage back now, I feel like I was so rude and it makes me cringe. I hope it isn't considered disrespectful. As I mentioned before, off camera, we were a lot more informal and casual. So that probably rubbed off a little during the interview as well. Anyways, now next, I would like to share a song that they showed me. This is probably my most favorite of all the songs that they played during that 1 week. It is a traditional Gandharva song that they don't play while busking in more urban areas. They either play it for traditional events or in rural areas where their intention is much more cultural and not financial. It is what is called a Ghatna Geet, meaning a song about an event. It is a very dark song and documents the story about a father killing his own daughter and serves as a cautionary tale. I have tried my best to transcribe and translate, but I know that a lot of it is wrong. At several times, I have just made guesses as to what they are probably saying or what it probably means. I also took reference of a recording on YouTube of the same song from 1982. Links below on the description. That version is much longer, has a different melody and structure, and even some of the crucial details are different, but it has somewhat the same lyrics. I'm assuming since the recording was 30 years ago before the recording I have, some of the lyrics and details must have gotten changed while being passed down through an oral tradition. Even though it is different from the 1982 version, I also want to stress the value that each different version has. In the world of folk music and folk culture, the concept of the original version is not really valid, as every version is different and has interpretations of that particular performer, and we almost can never find out who the original author was. With that being said, here is the song.
पहिले बोल्नु भने नि अब के भन्नु भने त गाउँ बस्तीतिर जस्तै पनि यस्तै गीत गाएर हिँड्छौँ होइन हाम्रो गन्धर्व जातिको एउटा खास गीतहरू हो यो भनेको घटना गीत हो र बाउले छोरी मारेको आफ्नो बाउ छोरी मारेको हो त्यस्तो गाइने गीतहरू यस्तो घर गाउँतिर जातिहरू चाहिँ गाइन्छ बजार जातिहरू दाजुभाइ हितकार यस्तै गीत गाउँदैछु प्रचार दाजुभाइ हितकार यस्तै गीत गाउँदैछु प्रचार कहिले पनि खेल्नु हुन्न यो जुवाको बिज आफ्नो अर्को किन भन्ने यो जुवाको चिज 34 सालमा छोरी मारी जेलमा पर्यो बाबु यस्तो हाल सुन्दा देख्दा सबै हौन काबु 34 सालमा के उल्का देखियो हुर्केर यो गीत लेखियो 2034 साल मङ्सिरको महिना 18 गते गएको थियो शनिबारको दिन 3 नम्बर मानङ जिल्ला चम्चे भन्ने गाउँ आफ्नो छोरी आफै मार्ने हरिपोल बाहुन घरमा छैन जिन्दगी भरिला जुवा मारेको छोरीलाई मानङबाट 3 जना जुवा खेल्न आएको च्याम्ची भन्ने जङ्गलमा जुवा खेल्न गएको पहिलो दिन जुवा खेल्दा 17,000 मार्यो दोस्रो दिन जुवा खेल्दा घरबारी हार्यो 35,000 दिँदा पनि नबेचेको घर त्यो जुवामा गइकन हार्यो कठै पर श्री सम्पत्ति जुवामा हारेर जेलमा पर्यो छोरीलाई मारेर ती बाहुनका 2 छोरा 3 छोरी भएको कान्छी छोरी एसएलसीमा भर्खर पढ्दै गएको मैले छोरी बिहे पछि बिहे गरिदिएको जेठी छोरी मलाई एक पनि तर दिएको जेठा छोरा 7 वर्षको कान्छा 2 वर्षको कतैबाट ती छोरीको लिन आपत लिएको ल्याउँछु छोरी घरबाट डाकेर गर्न मान्छ छोरीले तागेर मैले छोरीको घरमा गए त्यसले भन्न लाग्यो लिन छोरी तिम्रो आमा बिरामिनी भयो लिन छोरी तिम्रो लामा बिरामी छ भने झुकाए अलिहाली छ त्यो पापीले पनि ल्याउँदा ल्याउँदै चान्से भने जम्मा लामा हिरा बिना चौतारीको थियो त्यो पिपला बर पिपलाको गाछा मुनि पानी धारा थियो पानी धारा पुग्दा त्यसले घर माग्न लाग्यो लिन छोरी लौ तेरो गहना म त जान्छु जुवा तास खेलन दिन बुबा म त दिन हिरा अर्काको गहना म दिन सक्दिन तिमी भए छिटो फुका छोरी होइन भने तल हान्छु अटोमेटिक छुरीको साथमा जान्छ प्राण बुबाको हातमा छोरीदेखि डराएर थर खान लागिने भए भएको गहना सबै फुकालेर दिने कलेलाको गहना बुबाले नि भन्दा यसै बन्न मुसै बन्न पार्न के को धन्दा यसो सोचो मनमा छोरी झिकिहाले डाइने खोकमा छोरी हाने त्यो पापीले पनि मनै बेला भइ गयो मेरो गाउँघर सबैलाई अँध्यारो भने लागिन्थी छोरीले कुलो कहेर पानी खान दिनुहोस् बुबा लामो सास फेरेर त्यति बेला दानी कुनमा छोरी थियो अरे मुखमै छोरी झिकी लौका पारी भने घाँटीमा नि रेटी बेच त्यो पापीले पनि गयो प्राण घाँटीमा रेटेर जानु पाएन आमालाई भेटेर छोरी मारी गहनाको पारी हाल पोखो जुवा खेल्न जान्छु भन्नु त्यसका मनको धोको साउला काटी आपतले छोटा पार्दाखेरि मलाई त तिनवटा लाउरे आइपुगेछन् फेरि हलदार लाउरे चाहिँ यसो हेर्न लागे छोरी मारा जन्मरालाई बल तिनले देखे पक्रिएर ल्याइकन सोचत गर्न लागे केको रगतलाई बदनित गर्न लागे कुरा गर्न देऊ मलाई पखत हँसी काटी लागेको रगत झुटा बन्द थियो जन्मराले पनि भन लागि तिनौरीले अघि सरी चार बुटा हान्दाखेरि छोरी मार्यो भने खुदामारी भनेकन भनी गर्यो अनि जुवा खेल्नु बसेको बानी छोरी मारी बसे जिउँदानी मनम जिल्ला देशी नगरिकन भएन प्रहरी थाना गएर नलिकन भएन प्रहरी थानाबाट अझसम्म आए बोल नौ दिनमा सदी गराइदिए सदी बिना मुजुका जिल्ला लेखिदिए हरिप्रसाद बर्मनलाई जन्म कैदिए चिना जाना कोही छैन हाम्रो ज्यानको मुद्दा लागेको नराम्रो 7.5 तोलाको सुन्न तिनले लाएको थियो 6 महिनाकी गर्भ थियो तिनको हटालियो सारी थियो ट्यालिनको पटन तेलो रङको बोलस थियो पोलिस्टरको सदर लाग्ने झल्को बेगारीको वर्ष दिन भयो 19 वर्ष छोरीको ज्यान गयो दाजुभाइ नखेल्नु जुवा त घरको नासा जीवनको बने बासा सरी बसो दुःखको आशाले समय दिएका मिसी बासाले घर बिना जुवा र साले यस्तै सुनात आफ्नै बाउले आफ्नै छोरी मारेको हामीहरू चाहिँ जन्म
Welcome back! Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Because if you did, then you should subscribe! I know it was a very dark song. I personally had a lot of difficulty both mentally trying to go through the story as well as trying to understand and transcribe and translate what he was trying to say. And knowing about Shankar's passing made it somewhat even more difficult as I felt like I had some sort of responsibility to do it well. There were times when I felt like abandoning this project, but at the same time, I also felt the responsibility to have it done. I have plans to make a part 2 of this video where I have some more interviews and another beautiful song, so keep an ear out for it. Today the music that I want to highlight for the outro is from a real life friend of mine and a former collaborator, Hishe Bhutia. He himself isn't playing anything on the album, but is a field recording of the Gandharvas. He visited the Gandharvas in their hometown of Jhapa and made this beautiful album of raw performances and talks. I can hear in it that the performers are a lot more at ease and are way more casual. I will leave the Bandcamp link on the cards as well as in the description below. Please do go and listen to his album and all the other music on his Bandcamp. Speaking of Bandcamp, I have a Bandcamp too. You can find all my music there, and if you need some sitar samples in your music, I have that too. I have also recently released my first ever solo album, Small Town Boy, on Bandcamp as well as other major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Savan, etc. So please do go and listen to it as well. Once again, please keep Shankar in your memories and let this video be a celebration of his life and his music. Stay untuned.
I'm